Good evening, it's 6 o'clock now. We'll go ahead and start with the first item on the agenda is consider approving the minutes held from December 18th meeting.
I'd make a motion we approve those minutes and sign the warrant.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor? Next is discuss the voting to accept the fire station generator grant from FEMA.
This has been actually quite a process. Deputy Chief Rick Stubbert actually wrote the application for the grant. We've been awarded $74,500 with an in-kind of 25%, so that means that the town will receive $55,875 for the cost of the generator. This is extremely valuable. This is a project that's it's going to give us power for all three facilities, the town office, the police department, and the new fire station. We've got it in the budget to cover the 25%, and I would recommend that we accept this.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Okay. Job well done. Next item up is the Waterville dispatch fee increase.
As you all know, Waterville has increased its dispatch fees. We've been $30,000 for many, many years. Last year we had an increase, and I think it brought it up to close to $45,000. Meg, correct me on that because you've got the numbers.
Let's see. I just kind of.
Thanks for coming.
Hang on, I do have the
Well, she
numbers.
talked with Doug then, right after I talked
I
with
do
her,
have-
so.
I just got the numbers.
And we're gonna be looking at a new cost.
42,894.
What was it, I'm sorry?
42,894.
Okay, so we're gonna go from $42,894 up to $92,000 and some change. We have been working on due diligence on this. I've been working with Mike Smith at the Sunset Communications. And as you can see, I've given you some transmission that I've had back and forth with him. The stumbling block that they have right now is actually hiring dispatchers before they bring somebody new on, and they're trying to figure out how they can work that cost into it. But as it stands right now, if you look at the last page, it looks like it's going to be about $110,000 for the town of Oakland and Winslow if we go up there. So I would recommend, even though this is a hard push for us, to remain with Waterville. And the dispatch services out there are good. We're still on the low end of things, so I would say let's stay right with Waterville and let me continue to work with Somerset.
So it's 110 for Oakland and Winslow?
If we go with Somerset.
Each.
And Waterville's 92, and I think Winslow's 113 on the sheet that I gave you.
I'd make a motion we stay with Waterville and put that amount in our budget this year.
I guess, I second that.
Motion is made second, comment?
What discussion, if any, has happened with Waterville in regards to annual excessive increases? Is this a figure which they're going to be COLA increases, no increases? Is there any discussion in regards to
We don't have a
elections?
contract with them as of yet. That's something that's being hammered out. As you know, the town manager out there has been out on medical for a while, and I think that this is something that's working. We've been over there, we've met with them more than once, and they understand our concern. We do want to, if we stay with them, we want a contract. And it was discussed there'd be a COLA increase on it. The bottom line is, where there's no contract, we can leave as quickly as we've come into them. So, I mean, it's going to be a problem for us, obviously, because we can't get another dispatcher right now to cover our services. And you know, Somerset can't really do it without their manpower increase. And so...
That's all I'm going to say about it.
Would it be advantageous to offer them a 2-year contract with at the same price?
Well, it'd be advantageous if we were in a position where we could offer them that contract.
they
They
be
have to
willing-
offer us, we're the customer.
Would they be willing to enter a 2-year contract? If
Well,
we-
we're shooting for a 3 or 5, is what we're shooting for.
When do we have to?
Well, we don't have anything right now. Right now, we have a price commitment of $92,000 and some change, and that's what we're putting in the budget for this upcoming year. Is there any guarantees that's going to be the same next year? Absolutely not.
But I guess the question is, can we ask them to enter into a 2 or 3 year contract at this time before we.
And we have asked them that.
and-
Well, the thing is, Mike's back to work now, and this is all
They
stuff
said they
that's
were giving
working,
us a good deal.
that we're
Yeah,
working
this is
on.
not a good deal. I'm sorry, are you done?
I just would hate to be back in this situation next year where it becomes.
Yeah, we might very well be, and that's why I don't think Somerset's off the table.
Have we considered, this is $50,000. How do they justify a $50,000 increase? And the other thing is, and I really would like to know how they justify a $50,000 increase. We already have a dispatcher here for 8 hours a day. Maybe we should start looking at hiring our own dispatcher, 24/7.
Well, I think you're gonna find if we do that, there's gonna be a heck of a lot more than $50,000, because one thing, you're gonna need the equipment, you're gonna need to hire 24/7 dispatch. You know,
Right, yeah.
this is the cost of less than one employee for the increase. Because by the time you end up figuring all the benefits that go with the person, and $50,000 is not gonna cover one person.
Yeah, good idea. It just 50,000 seemed like a big number, that's all.
It is a big number. You know, remember, last year, they set this in motion that we were gonna have this increase for July 1st of this last year without the ability to budget for it. We were able to go and negotiate that, so we had another year to prepare for it. And at that same time, we're doing our due diligence, trying to find somebody who can cover our dispatch. And there's not a lot of options on the table. Somerset would be a viable option. But if you read the document that I gave you, that's a struggle for them as well. You know, we're caught between a rock and a hard place on this. And
I was waiting for him to get done. Maybe Dave Groder remembers, but 2 or 3 years ago, there was a big thing in Augusta, was it KSO, Augusta being a PSAP and dispatching for the other towns down there, and they was having trouble then trying to find people, weren't they, to
Yeah, I think
man
they're
up
just
and-
now getting up to staff.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That was 2 or 3
they've always
years ago.
been looking.
Yeah,
Like DPS is another option, but they're still looking too. They don't really want anybody else. Somerset got rid of Augusta, Augusta went to DPS, and it's just by default, we have to pay.
And if you remember last year or the year before, Gardner agreed to
yeah, that
$189,000 a
was,
year dispatch.
there's been a big argument down there to try to staff up for it, I know,
Yeah,
in the last few
this
years.
this is what's happening. And, you know, we've been very fortunate to be able to get our dispatch service for $30,000 a year for the last forever. You know, it's been a long time. And we've been partners with Waterville for a long time. So this came as much of a blow to me as it did to anybody. But we're getting through it. And I don't think it's
Is there any opportunity for the communities that are part of the Waterville dispatch to be on like a board of directors or a group that has input into what they're doing? Or are we just
I don't-
paying for the
I
service?
don't think they want that to happen.
I'm sure they don't.
I mean,
but-
this is truly a situation where they are providing a service and we are a customer and that's the way they want it. And they don't want to have input from us. I mean, we've had these discussions. We'd like to see a little bit more control and ownership on our end, but we're not going to get it.
We are between the rock and the hard place, so I think we're gonna
Mr.
choose
Bowman.
the rock.
Yeah.
Just following up on Dana's comment, what is the interconnectedness between our dispatcher and the Waterville dispatch?
Well, we have fiber optics. I mean, that's.
No, I mean, we have a person on board here
Right.
during the day, 5 days a week.
Right, and she covers everything except for 911 calls. The PSAP that we use is out of Somerset. They handle our 911 calls. What our dispatcher does is handle routine daily calls that come into the police department for 8 hours a day.
And then Waterville handles,
Waterville handles, it's kind of a convoluted mess. 911 calls go to Somerset, Somerset contacts Waterville Dispatch, and Waterville Dispatch contacts our police department, police officers, and dispatches them to the emergency calls. Which if we did go with Somerset, we could eliminate that part of it, because where they're already dispatching our emergency calls, it's not a big push for them to dispatch the remaining calls. But the problem is they don't have enough manpower, and the issue that goes along with that is, one, is not, people aren't knocking the doors down to become dispatchers, because these are 24/7 positions and they're stressful as heck. And So they struggle just keeping themselves up to full staff as it is, and there's a cost to it. That, you know, they work on tight budgets just like everybody else does.
I guess my question is though, more of the redundancy. So we have a contract with Waterville to do everything but the 40 hours where we have a person on board. Does that make sense?
It's been working for many, many, many years.
Right, but if we're spending $95,000 there, and I'm not trying to eliminate a position, but we have a position here for whatever,
I see where you're going
at some
with that.
point, do we eliminate that position and just let
Well,
Waterville
but
handle
the
it?
thing is, you gotta remember, Don, is we have walk-in traffic in here. I mean, people coming off the street to come into the police department. If we eliminate our dispatcher, then we're gonna have nobody at that front desk to deal with customers. So, we get to pick our personality for dispatcher and to have the customer service representative on premise as well. You know, I mean, I think that and I hear what you're saying, and it certainly holds merit, but I think that it would be a disservice to the town of Oakland to make our customers go to Waterville to go see a police officer. You know, we have to offer that service since we have a police department here.
I think if you looked at the dispatch position here, it's almost a secretary with a dispatch component to it.
Absolutely. She's here,
Versus
let her
just
dispatch.
using a radio.
Because the thing is, having been over here for many, many years, there's some benefit to that, because if somebody comes in and she calls me off the road or a police officer off the road, she's able to verbalize to you face to face over what this situation is, whereas instead of doing it just through the radio or on the phone. So, you know,
Motion is made, second by Bob, all in favor? Next item up, discuss increasing town's retirement contribution.
Okay, we are currently at 6.5%. Our retirement account is through ICMA, and it's been through that for a long, long time. And the town contributes 6.5% to the employees, 1.5%. And we're having a real struggle right now finding help. And part of the retention and hiring new employees is, you know, benefits that we offer. As you can see, most of your surrounding towns offer Main State retirement. This is a premium plan, and the towns pay more towards retirement, but on the flip side, so does the employee. And what I'm gonna make a recommendation on is I'd like to eventually get it up to the town, up to 8 and 4. 8% coming from the town, 4% from the employee, but I would like to do it at 0.5% per year. And so for this next budget season, I'd like to go and budget for 7% and let the employees know that we're gonna require them to contribute 2%. Year after that, we'll go up to 7.5, 2.5, till we get up to 8 and 4. Once we get up to 8%, and if the council, everybody else feels that Main State retirement is the way to go, it's not gonna be a hard jump for us to get to that place. If we go up 0.5%, we're gonna be adding an extra $10,000 into the budget for our town employees, which that's a drop in the bucket. And I think that if we take this in that direction, slow and steady, we're gonna end up getting ourselves competitive with our neighboring towns, and it's gonna be, you know, just add to the benefit package that we offer to our staff.
You say the employee is required to put in 1.5. Can they put in more if they want to?
Okay, we have a 457 plan,
Yeah.
and we do have a handful of employees who take advantage of that, that they may take an extra $50 or $100 out of their paycheck and add to that. Some of them don't take advantage of that.
That's before taxes too,
That's
isn't it?
before taxes, that's correct.
Could you run through the prospective changes? Where are we now?
We're 6.5 and
next-
1.5.
So next year we go to 7 and 2,
7 and 2.
And
It'll
then
be
the following year?
7.5 and 2.5, with my goal of getting 8 and 4.
so but the third year, when we get up to 8, they won't be at 4 at that point. If
We're
we
gonna
go
stop them at 4.
No, but if you go at 0.5% increases, we'll go to 8, they'll go to 3.
Right. We may
And then
not
the
get
follow-
up there at the same time, but at that point in time, that's when we're gonna go and make a move to 4. It benefits the employee.
Oh, I'm not against it, I'm just curious, is, we'll get to 8, but they'll only be at 3.
Yeah.
How do we negotiate them to go to 3.5 to 4 if we're not increasing it at that point?
We'll have to deal with that when we get there.
Sir Bob?
So, as it is right now, a town employee, the town will kick in 6.5. Do they have to kick in the 1.5?
That's mandatory.
It's mandatory. So if the town were to eventually get to 3-4 years down the road and decided to join Maine PERS at that point, the town's employee would have to kick in 8%?
Well, depending on the plan that we end up going with, because there's several different plans for Maine State Retirement. I mean, there's 2C, there's AC, there's special plan number 3, and each one of them, but the consistent part of it is the employee contribution is much higher than what we require them. I think you're looking at 8, 9 and a half. And then you're gonna have employees that we may not, that's the downside to this, is the contribution from the employee. You know, I mean, people.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
that-
older people.
no employee cares if the town kicks in 10.8% or
Right.
20%, as long as you can't overextend the employee. Mandatory to get there.
Right, right. A lot of towns will offer 2 different policies. They may end up going with an ICMA policy and the Maine PERS, and depending on the employee, they have a choice of either one. And I'm sure Augusta has that option. You know, and the city of Waterville has that option. You know,
So what does the city of Augusta have? Will they match you up to a certain amount, or they give you a certain amount and then you get to choose, so, you know?
I believe it's a match.
So if you
Say out
don't
there.
want to put in anything, the city probably doesn't put in anything, and that's your choice.
Can't answer that because I didn't challenge it,
Okay.
I'm more to saving, so I went with the agreement.
I guess I would want to know more.
About what?
I think retirement benefits are a wonderful thing, unless